Hey guys, how you all doing? Welcome back to the number one crypto show in the world. No, it's definitely not because hardly anyone watches these videos, but we do have a core group of subscribers that we did just hit new all-time high for subscribers. And obviously we've got the core group in Discord and Facebook. Unfortunately, YouTube algorithm hates me for some reason and only wants to recommend videos of the weird face people doing this sort of rubbish and posting about XRP going to $365. But anyway, if you do get value out of my posts and my videos, please share them with your other friends in the crypto industry so I can help me to grow my YouTube channel. So today we're going to be going over altcoins. Put up a post in our Facebook community, and I was trying to reply back to everybody and put up posts their charts and everything like that. But I couldn't get back to everybody over the last couple of days because there were a few hundred um, chart requests. So basically what I did was say, look, guys, I'm going to create a video and try and cover off as many of them. So if I haven't caught your chart that you asked for yet, or the coin you asked for yet, chuck it up in this post and I'll get around to it. So we're going to go through that today and I'll do a little bit of update on where BTC is because it's looking pretty interesting at the moment. So let's just jump into that just quickly. So this is our Facebook community. It's got 36,000 people in it at the moment. It's been going since 2017. Really awesome crew, great community. So if you're not in here, definitely suggest jumping on board. That's the 36.1 up there. And yeah, jump on board and come into our Facebook community and say hi. There's a lot of really great traders in here. But basically what we're going to do is we're going to go through this list of everybody asking for coins and hopefully we can get the job done. So the first one up off the rank is meme, but we're going to go through and take a look at Bitcoin first. So there's a few things going on at the moment. Obviously, a really nice, strong rally. I think really important to know is we did just put in a TD9 on the weekly. So typically what happens when you put a 9 in on the TD, it doesn't mean 100% you're going to get a reversal. But it does mean that you're at a really key inflection point. And basically what happens is usually it is most likely going to end the rally and this beginning of consolidation, right? If you can get a close above the wick of the 9, so that means a close above pretty much 38K, right? We're going to close on the weekly above that, then yes, that opens it up to push to probably the next high, which would be about 47 to 48K, right? That's why that's one of the main targets that I have. Potentially for the rest of this rally can definitely potentially take us up to like 48K. And I've said that since the start of the year, that's probably going to be the top of the pre-halving rally. Who knows if it's actually going to happen or not? It's just a target, right? And I think if we do get up there, it's going to have some troubles breaking out of that level. Will be heavily defended by bears. And then also I think a lot of people that were buying in through here and also through around here, if we get a nice consolidation, we'll be looking to take profit up there as well, right? So that's something to think about. So then if we just jump down onto the lower time frames a little bit, we did have our 9 here. And so same thing happened, 9 got put in, can't close above. It took almost a week and a bit consolidation before we could get above, instant rejection, and then almost another week. And then we finally broke out. Okay. So potentially similar type price action could happen on the weekly, go sideways for a little bit before it finally can rebuild the momentum to push again. And at the moment, we did have a key weekly level, which I don't need to go back to weekly time frame, but it's from back here, the swing low on the weekly where the close was. Then we also have the 2021 value area low. That is from this chart here. Right, this is from our long-term VWAP indicator. It doesn't want to load in at the moment, just because we're on the 4-hour. Let's jump a bit higher time frame. It's a bit easier to see. So there's some of the value area from 2021, right? And just drag that across and you can see that that was a really key level to try and break through, finally broke through. So potentially that is going to get retested, right? 35,650 is going to be a key level. This indicator is really great. It just gives you the best levels, in my opinion, on the chart that really only institutional players are looking at. No retail traders know to look at, standard deviation from the yearly VWAP and stuff like that. Like it's just no reality. And that's why so many people get caught out when price just stops at random levels, it doesn't really make that much sense. So, and then if, you can line up with confluence and stuff like that, it does work out pretty nicely. But yeah, if you guys are going to do our course, you'll see us talk about this indicator and how it all works, and how to use it to increase your profitability with your trading. So yeah, I probably should pitch the course now. If you guys do want to do it, go to marketmastery.io, and you can sign up for our course. We do have a new course starting on the 5th of December. It's going to be 2 webinars a week. So make sure you jump on for that and join us with that, because it's going to be really cool. So this is basically a really nice break in, and we might end up seeing it come back and retesting that level. But at the moment, especially on the 4 hour, it's actually looking quite nice. We just need to continue to see a bit of momentum. You can see we've just, had a really nice bleed out. Pretty much all Monday just bled out after, this trap up here tried to break out, got rejected, and just rolled over. And now we're putting in a 9 here. So potentially this is going to give us some type of reversal, and possibly we're just going to range out like this for a while, right? I actually would like to see that BTC either range out like this and then pump again, or we have a deeper pullback all the way back down to here. And that would actually make a lot of sense to me on the daily, but it would stunt. A pullback that deep is definitely going to stunt or end this rally. And it's going to take, probably until maybe January for the next time that this pumps. I mean, it can always just do this and do a U-turn and then run again, but less likely. I think that would end up making a massive flag. So I'd rather see a much tighter consolidation up higher. And same with a lot of altcoins, right? So we're a bit touch and go earlier before, but it looks like this weekly level has found a bit of support and people are ready to buy back in. On the 1 hour time frame, this is actually a nice swing failure pattern through here, pretty nice sweep. And there would have been a bunch of liquidity underneath there as well. So it came down, triggered a whole heap of stops with that close below, and then we've put in a Morningstar reversal. So trying to push up. We'll see what happens next, but this really needs to make it back to the range high, to be honest, to keep us in the game for consolidation up here. What I want to see is just roll straight over again for the rest of Tuesday into New York trading hours. But I do want to see this come up to 37 at least, and maybe just go sideways for a little bit longer, form a really nice bull flag, range high up here, range low down here, maybe even come down and sweep this wick through here, and then go. Could be a really nice entry on a reclaim or something like that. For short entries, these 2 wicks up here, and then obviously the high at 38 is potential short entry. So something like that, right? Or something like, take this level out and then reclaim that. Both can be nice short entries on the reclaims for the move back to range low, all right? But, I'm not super excited about shorting this. I sort of was more like, okay, let's wait for the dip. And I think we've just got some nice dips. Potentially we do still need to go a bit lower though. Like if we look here on our RSI on the 4 hour, it hasn't come all the way down to oversold. So, it's not really threatening to put in like a bullish divergence or anything like that. On the 1 hour though, we have hit the oversold level. So, potentially we only get a 1 hour. It depends how strong the market is, right? Sometimes on the start of these pushes, you only get a 1 hour pullback on the RSI, and that's it. And it just runs again. Sometimes it'll bleed out for a little bit longer, and you'll get a 4 hour oversold entry, and that'd be a really nice setup to push again, right, and to reload for the next swing high, right? But sometimes when the market is really hot, you don't get a full 4 hour reset on the RSI, and it just stays hanging around overbought and the 50 area, and then it's overbought and then comes back down to the 50 area to reset and just stays stuck to being overbought, right? So yeah, we don't need to go too much more into that. So that's Bitcoin at the moment. Hopefully that helps out. Looking for that tighter consolidation up here, or a larger pullback down to like 34, which also would line up. Well, 34, I mean, not really, actually. I was thinking 31, but that would be a much deeper pullback, and potentially we would end up doing something like this for that to play out and get all the way down to there and then take off again from there. But I think the market might just be a little bit too hot. All we need is some fresh news about the ETF or something like that, and this thing's going to fly again. Basically the top got put in when the ETH ETF news started coming out. So That's pretty much it for Bitcoin. Ethereum, obviously, everyone wants to know about ETH because they had the new ETF news looking pretty good at the moment. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if we just ended up getting another tight consolidation like this one, but just up here. So, I'd like to see something like this happen, and then we push towards the end of the week. Would be pretty nice. But I think Ethereum breaking out of this 21.45 level is going to be really big for altcoins. Probably things like Matic as well, maybe even Illuvium. A couple of the ETH ecosystem games, potentially could run with it, and just everything else, ETH ecosystem, Arbitrum, OP, stuff like that could really heat up. So I think that's going to be big for altcoins if Ethereum can push out of this 21.45. One thing I do want to look at as well is the totals. Just let me scroll up here 1 second. So total 3 is a really important one to look at. And I mean, just looking at the line chart, looks pretty nice at the moment, to be honest. And realistically, this is like a pretty of an ugly head and shoulders, but really it's just a accumulation range, right? Let's not try and kid ourselves. And we sort of have broken out of a key high through here. Really want to see it get a close above this level though, because just looking at this right now, like this easily can end up rolling back down to here, and then it doesn't end up breaking out until post Bitcoin halving, okay, which is April next year. And so it really relies on Ethereum here for total market cap, excluding BTC. This is total too. So this is Ethereum and all altcoins. What we're just looking at, the last chart was just only altcoins, excluding Ethereum and Bitcoin. So yeah, we had the invest and shoulders here, broke out, and then the very next candle got rejected, and then rolled over. So it was a pretty nasty one, to be honest. So that's a failed setup, but it is sort of the same thing. It's just a little bit more. I don't want to say it, YouTube will ban me, but just a little bit of a weirder look on the invest and shoulders. But if we can break out that 686 billion, if it can get above that level, then it can definitely run. And look at the imbalance here, guys. Like that was the Celsius Luna 3 Arrows Capital collapse. That definitely can get filled in really, really quickly, because that is a huge imbalance through there. So once we get above this level, I think that's really open season for a lot of altcoins to finally make a really big push and run. Okay, so it really relies on Ethereum breaking out of this 21.45 level. And so the other thing to watch is Ethereum BTC, because of reclaiming this downtrend, which it tried to and then rejected straight away, and now it's rejecting off it again. If you can reclaim this downtrend, also this order block, which seems to have been pretty important for the last few years as well. If it can get back above that level and do something like this and then break out of this falling wedge through here, that's going to be actually really strong for altcoins, because total 2 will break out. Obviously, ETH USD chart will fly as well, and then that's just going to drag up a whole heap of altcoins. I think we'll have like a real big alt season. Obviously, a lot of good altcoins are pumping right now, but yeah, I think we haven't seen anything yet. I think this is just like a bit of a rebalancing, because everything was so insanely oversold. Like some good things like Link and Solana were still like 85 to 90% down from their previous all-time highs until just recently. So let's go and take a look at some altcoins now. I'm gonna get this up. Okay. Get this up on my second screen. Excuse me, I'll just fix that up so I can go through the list of altcoins. But I know Illuvium is one of the ones that everybody wants to know about. So we'll have a quick look at that. I hope everybody caught this, because I've spoken about it in so many freaking videos. Really cool project. I think it's got a lot of potential. Yeah, I just can't see how once this project is up and running, which looks like they're going to have some pretty big releases in 2024. I just don't see how this doesn't absolutely moon. So yeah, and it was just so obvious that there was a strong accumulation along the lows here. And this is a really nice accumulation zone just in itself, right? So I bought some in here and then added through here as well. And it had a really nice 150% jump to the highs. It was obvious that was going to be a target. Now I have taken off half in here. I'm just waiting to see what's going to happen next. This easily, guys, can come up here and then roll all the way back over and just do this again, right? So you have to be prepared for that, right? Just because I heard a really good push from range low to range high doesn't mean we're going to break out like Solana and Link had. Link was down in this range for almost 2 years, right? I mean, this has been a year and a half, so it's done its dues, that's for sure. But it's only had two pushes to the range high. This easily can come back down and maybe even put in a spring, right? And I think that'll be its opportunity, and that might happen. If things get a little bit shaky in the stock market next year, recession fears, blah blah blah, Bitcoin takes a dump, anything can happen, right? We're just going to be prepared for it. What we do know though is that if we do come into this box through here, we want to be buying again, and the target will be up here, right? Once we break out of that box, then we're looking for this one up here. Okay, so this could flag out like this maybe and then break out. So there's an opportunity to get in the flag around $70, $80. And then there's obviously an opportunity on a breakout to buy in above 110. And then a retest of that 100 level would also be the next opportunity to get in, right? And it could end up doing something like this and then pumping easily all the way to 300 in a flash. And then I think consolidation there, and then probably up to 500. Does this head back to previous all-time highs? Who knows? It's a long way up. It's going to depend a lot on fundamentals, how many users, et cetera, et cetera. But it sounds like they've got heaps of users already. One thing with this coin is there has been a massive issuance of token supply, which is why, it went so far below its previous, the original low from launch. It went so far below that because there's just been so many more tokens added into the ecosystem and people have been selling them, right? So yeah, I'm not sure if this goes back to previous all-time highs or higher or anything like that, but I do think that around 500 to 650 is a pretty good target for Illuvium. Okay, let's go and take a quick look at meme. I don't really like meme coins that much, to be honest, and this one's a really hard one to chart. So you're sort of on your own. There's not really much I can go off. Sorry, guys. Like anything could happen with this. So, me pretending that I can give you some sort of insights. At this point, when coins are this new like this, it's realistically, you're just relying on fundamentals because this can just roll over easily, go all the way back down to here, wick the low, open, go even lower, then finally come back and push again. And that happens a lot, especially at this sort of stages of the market as well. The best you could really do is, try and hope that it gets out the top of 0.37. You can play like Fibonacci levels from one level to the other, but at the moment, it's not a lot of insight I can help with on that one. Sorry. Okay. Everyone's asking about RFox. Look at that. I did have a bunch of this many years ago. Had a nice run earlier in the year. It's really hard to get too excited on this until it reclaims this level from the lows in July 21, which is 0.0342. So this is why I always say, guys, like you just do not hold altcoins long term. You're in it for the swing and then out. You want to get into Bitcoin or back into US dollars because these things can bleed out for years at a time. It can just be absolutely brutal. So hard for me to get too excited about RFox being a new buy or anything like that. Not until it reclaims this level at 0.0341, and then maybe it can definitely have a run potentially back up to here 0.33, which is still an amazing trade. Like if you got in on the reclaim, still a 900% move. But yeah, I mean, you have to look into the fundamentals of this coin. Potentially Potentially it's going nowhere. Maybe the team are building something. I don't know enough about it. But I have heard they're still working away on it. I think the team's based in Thailand or Vietnam or something like that. But there's a bunch of Aussie guys working on it, I'm pretty sure. But I don't know enough about it, to be honest, to comment in full. Okay, so ICX, another Dino coin, lagging pretty hard, to be honest. I mean, this is just range bound, similar to Illuvium, but a lot weaker. Right. So basically, what we're looking for here is this either going to push up to range low, come back down, maybe sweep the low, and then go post halving, or is it going to manage to break out, flip the range high, and push earlier than that? And that is a question I can't answer. All we can do is look to buy in the range lows. If it drops that range low, we're out. If it flips the range high, then we want to be in. Okay. Okay. Metis USDT. Oh, geez, you guys pick some average looking charts. Holy cow. Um, I mean, if the market continues to push, like all these things are just going to get dragged back up to their range highs, right? But obviously that depends on Bitcoin pumping and going sideways and pumping and going sideways. So yeah, if that continues to happen, this can definitely go up to this range high here. If it breaks out of the range high, it could probably run to 131 or maybe this swing low here will probably be the levels that I'd look for, but not a chart I like, to be honest. Rose, somebody asked for Rose. Now, this is a much better looking chart. I actually got the prime entry on this. I bought just as it crossed back up over to here, and then, like an idiot, I took profit here because I was like, oh, maybe that's range high. It's going to come back down here, and then put in inverse head and shoulders. And it just took off, and I never got back into it. And that's why sometimes it can be a better idea just to stay away from the red button, especially if you get into a really, really good entry. Like I got into probably the best entry you could hope for on this chart. And I took profit after a small move. Now, granted, it was a fair bit of money, and the market had started putting a little bit of a pullback. So I was like, you know what, I'm just going to take profit on a couple of coins here. And it was a leverage trade as well. So it's not like I bought spot. My spot was already 100% filled up. So I did a leverage trade on this one. And so I just sold off a couple of my leverage trades when we hit resistance across the board on a few things. But then BTC continued to run and everything just broke out of the resistance and pushed extremely hard. So left a fair few dollars on the table by getting a little bit excited. Which I've done before in previous cycles. That is for sure. I took profit on Doge after 100% rally. And if I had have let that run, it would have turned into $1.5 million. Instead, I made like $1,000. Yeah, so when you're getting really early, guys, at this stage of the market, and you're getting a nice position early, definitely can be better to just raise your stop loss below key resistances and just play it that way. Or take off 25%, 50% of the position and let the rest run. So, learned my lesson early in this cycle. I'm not going to let another Doge play out, but, this wasn't a spot position anyway. So it doesn't really matter that much, not too overly concerned. And profit is profit. But yeah, ultimately you get into a great position. Look to try and stay in that trade for as long as possible. It's only really, you want to flip it fast if you get in on a breakout or get in late. So yeah, just something to think about. Tau. So Tau supposedly has some really good fundamentals. And it's not really on any of the major exchanges just yet. Like we've got like Mexi and stuff like that. And it has had a really big run from end of October. So yeah, interesting to see. There's not really much I can do for you on this, but we can definitely throw a fib over this, and this looks like it wants to flag out. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, but this is a daily time frame, right? So probably actually need to go down a lot of time frames. Now it looks like it is flagging right now. Really nice pin bar back here. If we can get a full flag, probably better off doing this. If it can break back above $160, then I'll be targeting 207 and just play it like one Fibonacci level to the other, bull flag, bull flag, bull flag until, you get some sort of a larger range UTAD or something like that, up thrust after distribution, and then a reclaim of a range higher level or something like that, getting ready to roll over. That's the sort of things I look for with these, or some crazy blow off top, like a huge wick. I'll give you an example on Theta. So Theta had this huge wick blow off top. Actually, it was like looking at this, I was like, wow, Theta, the daily just opened and it was like 15% up instantly. And I came across to have a look, and I did this back here and then chopped sideways and ended up pushing back up again. I was like, maybe it's going to do the same thing. So I left the trade open. Wish I had closed it while it was pumping through here and got an extra 15% and just waited to buy back in. But, the rest of the market pulled back. So now what I'm waiting for to see, okay, really nice price action down here. We're shooting for that 4-hour shooting star, which is coming in 25 minutes. It'll matter most what it closes like on Bitcoin, to be honest. But we want to see it close above the 0.5. Let's go have a quick look at BTC. We do have the 4-hour 9 getting put in here as well. So there's a bit of momentum swinging at the moment. We want to see it close above 36669. So 36,670 basically is where we want to see Bitcoin close in the next 25 minutes on this 4-hour above to confirm that Morningstar reversal. If it pulls back like here, that's probably the failed Morningstar. And then you need confirmation on the next candle, or it's going to roll over, right? What you won't want to see on the next candle if it closes weak is it start to trade below this wick. That really opens up for people to start capitulating, and then you're starting to hit like the really tight liquidations and shorts and stuff like that. The stops and stuff like that, and then it ends up rolling over. But we know a strong close here, so bulls hold on to their position and come back in and buy again to try and push it up to get that continuation back up to the range high. Okay, Decred. Yeah, like this just looks horrible until like I've just seen so many altcoin charts look like this. And obviously low liquidity, like, those big wicks up all the time like this, it's not really a good sign. I'm not a big fan of stuff like that, to be honest. But obviously, this is a really big falling wedge and it's trying to get a breakout. So maybe you can get an entry off that breakout. And then, it's almost 100% push just to up here. So yeah, that'll be the main thing I'll be watching for. Breakout of here. And then probably confirmation that this is going to run would be a close above 18. And then, if it finally does get a little bit of excitement behind it and some volume kicks in, so I'll be watching for this on the Binance charts to see how much volume is actually kicking in each day and see if it's starting to build over time. It could run all the way up to 53 if it does get out. But to be honest, it's a pretty trash chart. Not going to lie. Okay, IOTA. A few people are going to ask me about this. Not a big fan. I mean, I thought the project was actually dead, but supposedly people are telling me that it's not. Similar sort of chart. Like there's heaps of altcoin charts that look like this at the moment. So like if you want to trade a coin that you're excited about for whatever reason, go and have a look around because there's probably a coin with way better fundamentals, way more volume, way bigger community. That's almost exactly the same chart setup, and you're probably better off trading that rather than the flip coin that you're getting excited about for some random reason. But make sure these projects, the old Dino coins, they are actually still running. There is being development by the devs on them and stuff like that. Go into their Discord, check out the community, see what's being posted about them on Twitter and stuff like that. But yeah, this, it's already had a breakout. It potentially can run up to 0.3645, which is still 95, 93% move from here. This is definitely going to be a key level as well at 0.26. So like this can easily just push up to here and then come back down, right? And do something like this. And then finally go at the end of next year or something like that, right? We don't know. We don't know what's happening. Maybe this is a accumulation range and it's finally breaking out, but I will get more excited about things like this above 2.7 and then definitely above 0.36, because that's when you break out of there and then you start to hit into these imbalances. And you're in a much better position in terms of attention that's on the coin, momentum. They're probably got a market maker behind it, pushing the price up, and then you can have those much higher targets and be in it for a push up to here or push up to here with a lot more confidence, right? But Ocean, one of the AI coins, actually looking pretty decent. Nice push earlier in the year. Still range bound, just needs to get out of this range, to be honest. So if we can consolidate through here and get a breakout, then yeah, we can be looking for the next move up to here. 0.67. But don't get me wrong, this can definitely roll over, go back to range low again. So we don't know what the chart's going to do. All we can do is play it by what we get delivered. And if it breaks out, flips the range high, then yes, we can get a long position on the breakout and flip of that range high. Comes back here and sweeps the low, we can get a long position on sweeping the low. If it breaks out here, comes back underneath the high, then we can get a short position down to the range low. Those are pretty much the main trades that you've got. I particularly like to stay to the long side, especially when the market's so hot like this with so much, potential positive news and hype and excitement. Not too keen on trying to short these things. But if it does break out and then reclaim this level, then, why not? There might be a nice trade. But yeah, usually looking for more upside, and eventually this is going to get back up to here over the rest of the cycle. It just depends like how long it's going to take to get back up there. That's really the question, right? A-star. Man, you guys pick some horrible looking charts. Like, what is this thing? I mean, this better have some goddamn good fundamentals or something like that, because this is some grade A trash chart we're talking about here. It's been down in this accumulation range for 553 days. Like I've been saying so many times, if it breaks out of this range, and I'll be looking for 0.31. Trying to accumulate near the bottom of the range. If their fundamentals are actually good, I don't know if they're good or not. Doesn't, by looking at the chart, doesn't look like they're that great, to be honest. But maybe the market's wrong about this guy. FET, let's go have a look at that. That's one that people have been talking about a fair bit. Already had a really nice push. Look, to be honest, this might just be going to do this, right? And then we want to see continuation. So it's going to depend on the rest of the market, right? All these coins are just going to follow whatever Bitcoin and Ethereum do, to be honest. And Solana obviously is a market leader right now. So if Solana plays strong, which I don't think we've looked at Sol yet, but we can pull it up in a second. And then everything else is going to go as well. If it doesn't, these are going to roll back over and probably come back down to range low. Do something similar to this. So flag, right? And it's either going to break to upside and pump really hard, right? And then we can look for, previous all-time highs, or it's going to fail. So this will roll over and we'll be back to the range lows, right? Let's go have a look at Solana, because it's actually playing really strong at the moment, up 7% today. And to be honest, it's actually leading the entire market. So came down, put a nice reversal off this order block back here. Right, so came back, checked to this position and bouncing. So want to see this get reclaimed. Actually having a pretty hard time pushing through it, but this is the classic bull flag after a nice pump. Break down, trap everyone below, and then reclaim the range low and then pump. Okay, so if it can get back above this range low area of 55, then I want to be looking to carry that trade probably up through this resistance we got rejected off just recently. right? And looking for my target at $80, right? That's what I'm going to be looking for next. If we can keep this momentum alive. Okay, next one will be GRT. So yeah, look, I mean, it all depends on what Bitcoin does. And as you can see, Bitcoin is doing that Morningstar reversal. And so all the altcoins doing as well, right? So potentially bull flag. Let's see. I mean, this is a really similar chart to Bitcoin's, to be honest. It's just going to continue. Oh, not getting enough oxygen or something. It's just going to continue to follow, but looks like it's in quite a larger range here. Once it breaks out of this range high, it can gap up really quickly to 31. And then, the next range will probably be through here. We can see what it does in there. Right. So most likely stuff is going to do things like this. Right. And this is what a lot of altcoins ended up looking like in the last cycle. And they come back up to the previous all-time high, and some don't make it to all-time high. Some just go like this. Some go like this, right? Anyway, it does a blow off and sweeps the previous all-time high, or it doesn't, it just rolls over, and then it dumps all the way back down. And then it goes like this for another 2-3 years, right? Can show you guys a million charts that look like that. That's why, when we're getting up near all-time highs, pumping really hard, take some freaking profit, guys. Rotate it back into BTC, rotate it back into USD, and have a little bit of a bag left, like half a bag or something like that, for it to continue to run. We still are in the pre-halving rally at the moment, guys. So usually the market doesn't just go absolutely nuts until post-halving, which would be next year. Okay, so look at AVAX. This had a really strong push the other day. So, this is a much better chart. Guys, why don't you trade stuff like this instead of just the horrific coins you've been asking me to chart? Much better. Obviously, this is a bit of a weaker one as well. Been lagging a little bit. This downtrend through here, got a nice break out of that. So, what I want to see here is it to flag out and then push, flip this, right? And then we can see if it can break out of $30 finally, all right? If it breaks out of that $30, same as everything else. Everything is basically the same chart. Hopefully you guys are starting to see that now. All these altcoin charts, they're almost the exact same chart. And basically the way it works is they're all going to go at the same time. Some will just go a little bit, few hours before or a day before, and some will go a couple of days later, some will go a week later, right? And so what you're trying to do is get in as many as possible, take some profit out of some, and then rotate that into others and be as broad-based, spread across as many as you can without going too crazy. You don't want to be over 20 different coins. Sometimes I see people in 150 coins. I'm like, how can you track all of that? Some of these might be at all-time highs and you want to take some profit and you don't even know because you got 150 coins. Behave yourself a little bit. It's all the same trade pretty much anyway. So yeah, we just want to rotate between, try and catch the early ones as quick as possible. That's why I posted a lot about Link and Solana and Aave, because I thought those ones were going to push hard. And Aave did push early with Link and Solana, but really they've taken over the show. Probably should have had INJ in there because that was one of the really strong runners, but you can't nail all of them. We'll have a look at Aave in a second. It looks similar to this actually. So want to see it break this downtrend and then, challenge this $30 mark. If you can get out of $30, it's probably going to freaking pump straight to $60. It's where Solana is at the moment is at this daily order block through here. That's where Solana is getting caught up. Right. So it's, it's down at $16, it's 150% move away from where Solana is right now. Right. So it's practically the same chart. That's an order block back there. So this is going to flag out and then probably push again. Unless something happens to Bitcoin and cause it to roll back over. If that does happen, then we'll be looking for a re-entry at $40, right? Or potentially it stays a bit stronger and you get that $48, $46 mark for the next push up, right? Let's have a look. Comp. Yeah, so still range bound. Like, you guys don't understand how early we are. I know, like, it seems like a lot of these coins have pumped really hard already, but they haven't done anything. Like, okay, this is pumped since, the other day, 31% or something like that. Seems like, and some coins have pumped 100 and something percent. This is at some stage is probably going to go all the way back up to here, which is the 672%. You're going to look back and be like, oh my God, I can't believe I can just buy some spot and hold it. And this is why one of the strategies that we teach in the course is just to, average into, a huge amount of altcoins with take one Bitcoin and, put $500 or $1,000 into, 30, 40 different top coins and just wait for them all to pump 500% and then sell out. And then you basically have just turned one Bitcoin into five. And some of them won't. Not everything is going to pump 500%. A fair few of them will. But it's just a handy little strategy that you can only really do at this stage of the cycle. You get one opportunity to do it, and it's sort of now, probably gonna have another opportunity post halving as well. But you will, for some of them, that opportunity won't be there again. But Casper was one of the other ones. If you followed me, I was posting about getting into this one back here. Basically 0.05, and everything was breaking out, and we're just looking underneath this key level here. Okay, that's an ascending triangle. If it break out from here, it's going to pump really hard. So and then we got a really strong pump, so I was pretty happy with that. And then took profit after we put in this daily candle here, because those are the type of candles you put in at a top. And I think this is a good coin to look at, because you can see how to chart a coin that's broken to a new all-time high. So getting the Fibonacci, just dragging this from the top to the bottom of this move here. And then you can see that we came up and rejected. And this is why I sold 50% of my position up here, the 2.618 macro fib level, because we put in that rejection pin bar. And that's why, the other day I was sort of started saying, like, guys, it's time to start actually taking a bit of profits here off a few things, because a lot of things are, putting in pretty nasty candles at key resistance levels. It's time to start taking like 25s and 50s off, and moving percentages, and moving those, moving some capital into USDT. So when there is a pullback, which is probably going to come soon, we have some capital on the sidelines to reload. So then we have bigger positions. So next time it pushes up, right? You want to some people just want to buy and hold forever. But, if you can time the tops, with small amounts of your positions, you can build much larger positions over the bull run, right? And yeah, you can always put a conditional buy order as well in case it runs and breaks out, and so you don't get caught not being in. Okay. VRA Veracity. Yeah, I had a nice strong pump at the start of the year. I think this might be is this an AI coin? I hope AI coins did that type of PA. And obviously it's been getting moving again. Strong pullback, potentially support and resistance flip here. So we can hold that and flag out here, basically the same as everything else, right? We can flag out here and then we push. Then we're looking for that next leg up, right? Going to have some problems definitely around 0.109. And then, yeah, if it can get out of that level, it can easily run to 0.20 or 0.030. Okay. Hopefully that makes sense. Someone asked for Matic. I'm not sure if we looked at this yet or not, but looks pretty good at the moment. Nice strong push. Whoops. Breaking out of the key high that it put in at the start of the year. Or sorry, it's July rally. Start of the year rally was all the way up here. Wow. So it is lagging a little bit. I think it got a little bit too excited at the start of the year. But yeah, if this can close up here, that's a really good sign. Don't want to see this close back below here, because that'll be a short back down to range low, 0.60. If you can close above here, then that's a breakout trade, and I'll be looking for it to push probably all the way up to here, 1.54. Okay. Yeah, someone asked for FTT. I don't know what you guys want me to Don't know what you want me to show you here on FTT. Looks a bit weird. Okay, hang on. So yeah, obviously had a big push because Peter Thiel and I should say the ex-president of the New York Stock Exchange are trying to buy FTX at the moment. Obviously, it's a massive move, 600% back to $22, but I don't see why they would reinstate FTT. Maybe because they have huge bags of if they buy FTX. But the lawyers have already said they're marking FTX down to zero. I think they would make their own coin if they were going to do an exchange token and call it FTX 2.0. Or maybe they do something to do with FTT. Who knows? But if they do give it some sort of meaning and use case, then yeah, it can pump all the way back up to here. But I think it's a pretty big gamble, hoping that Peter Thiel throws you a bone, because yeah, there's so much unaccounted for FTT. I'm pretty sure that bad actors could have hidden, and who knows if Sam has a bag somewhere. I think it's too much a risk. So I don't think they're going to do it, but anything could happen in this crazy world. Bancor. So look at this. Pretty sure this has been flying. Wowee, what a throwback. Jesus Christ. So stuff like this just makes me hate crypto. 267 pump into a 60% pullback. I mean, if you like this coin and think it should be pumping for whatever reason, like who knows? This looks like people figured out that the project's actually dead or some sort of bad news. Like that is a disgusting daily candle. I mean, if you're really excited about this project, like you can't go wrong buying after 60% pullback. But I mean, I wouldn't buy it. I would not buy that. I don't know what to say about that. He's just retarded. Have a look at Rune. This is actually a pretty good project. Been absolutely flying. And this is what I mean, guys. Like, it's the same chart we've been looking at for everything else. You break out of that key level, so the lower range high, broke out of that. Right, that was the first entry to get in. If you didn't get in on after the sweep of range low, it would have been amazing to get in at the reclaim of the range low. So this was a selling climax back here, right? Getting into the range low anywhere through here, right? The reclaim those few days through there, but let's be honest, in the middle of August, was not paying attention, expecting this sort of price action to happen. So wasn't looking at shitcoins like Rune. So yeah, and this easily could have pushed up to here and rolled over, like and done something like this, right? But it has managed to break out, and it's also broken out of this resistance here, and there's no real resistance for it at the moment, not until up at $6. So I wouldn't be surprised if it got up to $6. Okay, DOT. I got it somewhere in here. There it is. Nice breakout. I mean, there's a few coins we looked at like this already of this trend line through here. I mean, Aave was sort of similar, right? Similar sort of price action, right? Broke out from those because everything just kept on making lower highs, and this started becoming a level. Broke out, and so what we're looking on Aave here is for this to finish flagging out and then push up to these two key levels here. And then if we can break out of that one, yeah, we're looking for the previous year VWAP. And then potentially on up to 24.43. I should turn this on for a few of them, to be honest. It does help to give a bit of structure to the altcoins, especially when they don't have a lot, can definitely help. So yeah, if we basically can flip 115, then yeah, it's looking pretty good. And we'll probably run to 162 really quickly and 250. And so DOT is going to be fairly similar, breaking that downtrend through here. Next key level is going to be $7.70. And, then it can potentially run all the way up to the VWAP $12. And then the value area high is up here. So for example, Bitcoin is already broken out of this value area high. So for it to catch up to Bitcoin, it would be already above $20, basically. So this is what it pays to be in the right coin at the right time. You can make so much more. That's why I've been so heavy allocated to Bitcoin, because it always goes first, right? So, typically the rotation of the cycle, I'm heavy Bitcoin at the start. Then once, we start getting some total 2 and total 3 breakout, I start to rotate more into altcoins, have a bit more faith that altcoin rallies are going to, stay strong. You're not going to get a Bancor throwback 60% in one day type thing. So yeah, but I think once this gets out of $7.70, I might be interested in rotating into it for a move, up to here. That could be a nice rotation play if it can break out of this level here. But it might not be able to get out of there until post halving, right? And then once it does get out of there, post halving, we'll be looking for $26, and this type of project that probably will make it back to previous all-time highs. So yeah, if you're long-term holder, I think it's probably going to do all right unless something happens to the fundamentals. GRT, I think we've already done that. Rose already done. RND. This is a stronger chart for sure. Really nice accumulation range back here. Perfect support and resistance flip. That was such a nice entry to, that point there, and then this point here. Earlier in the year, around March, that was best entry on the chart. But if you're not in yet, it's a tough one. Basically just looking for it to flag out for a little bit more and then break out of these highs realistically. Then probably the next stop is up here at $6.265. So it seems like it's got a bit more momentum than a lot of the other coins. So it must be running some decent fundamentals at the moment. Nice throwback the other day when Bitcoin probably put its top in and had a bit of a throwback on alts across the board. Yeah, on the Thursday. So yeah, trying to hold above the developing yearly value area high at the moment. If you can stay above there, then expecting to stay imbalanced up and continue to push. Okay, CHZ. I'm not loving this as much, to be honest. Going to take off the market mastery, long-term VWAP. A reclaim at this level here, and it's on though, 0.087. A lot of things have reclaimed this and just pumped like all the way up to the next level of resistance, right? But until it has reclaimed that level, it doesn't mean it's going to get out, right? So it could end up doing something like this, and then you've got a nice invest head and shoulders play. But yeah, if it does break 0.087, then we can get up to 0.138 for sure. And then potentially up to 0.276. Okay, Phil, FRL, USDT. Yeah, Phil Filecoin, nasty daily yesterday, which potentially is going to put in some sort of high. But I mean, like everything, it's going to depend on what Bitcoin does. So probably flag out and then try and push gain would be my hopes for this one. Let's see what long-term VWAP like is so low on the value area right now. Like this, to catch up to Bitcoin, for example, would be above $18. It's at $5.50 right now. So it's already a 250% move just to catch up to BTC. Bitcoin is actually already at the 2021 value area low, which is equal to being at like $34 right now. So we're going to see if some of these coins finally do play catch up, but it's so early days for altcoins, guys. And that's why I was saying you can just, spray, one Bitcoin across 20 different, 20 or even 30, put $1,000 or something like that into 35 different coins. And just wait for them to, catch up to BTC and, take profits when they, come up to key levels. Like, that's a 1,260 pump all the way just to get back up to its previous year VWAP, right? Looking pretty strong. Definitely like this. Beautiful pin bar entry back here, taking out a whole heap of bears. sorry, bulls, I should say, early bulls getting taken out. And then, of course, it pumps really hard after that. So, yeah, we want to see this continuing to push sideways. Interesting, it hasn't really had that much of a rally, considering it pushed really hard from June. 150, 125 point move over the last almost half a year from June. And then it hasn't really done much. So it's lagging a little bit. Can definitely get out of previous value area high if everything continues to stay bullish, and then push up to 2,450. So yeah, that's looking good at the moment. Definitely one of the stronger ones. I want to say probably just build out a bit more of a base and then go. But yeah, let's see how that ends up playing out. Sushi, I do have. Sushi actually is a really nice entry at the moment. This is the point I try and enter on, right? So this is a really good example, guys. I like to get entries when you have the buying climax down here, and then you have the second test here, and then it puts in the spring, and then you get the reclaim of that level. That's where I like to enter, right? And as long as it can hold the range low of the buying climax, right, which is this point back here, then I'm looking for it to continue on to the top of the range, right? And just made it a ridiculous amount of money off that same trade about 10 times over the last couple of weeks, right? But a lot of those positions I got in, some of them over a month ago, right? Link, for example, which we'll look at in a second. I'll show you where I bought in. But yeah, this is how you do it. You buy when it reclaims the range low, right? And then pushes up to, the range highs, and then either chops around, right? Might do this and then come up, gets out, and then it's off, or it doesn't get off and it comes all the way back down again, right? And it goes later post halving. Right, those are pretty much the two main paths. And as long as this thing gets users and things are happening and it's exciting, then we can use our targets. Pretty nice point of control on a high volume candle up here at $4.80. That might be a target for sure. And then if you can get out, we can look for $10. But yeah, this is a DeFi exchange. New CEO, friends with Trader Trav, if you know those guys. Potentially does go back up to $13, right? Which would be an amazing trade, getting in anywhere around here. So that is a potential, but obviously a lot of things have to go right and continue to go right for them. They have to be generating fees and have a lot of volume on the exchange, and people be trading on DeFi, which is a trend, but Sushi, there's a lot of DeFi exchanges now. Sushi has to be one of the ones that does well for it to get back up to those levels. But let's be honest, eventually everything will get pumped really hard anyway. It's just about which ones go first so that you can have that free capital and profits and rotate around into the next ones. All right. So Bake is the next one. This is a bit of an uglier chart, to be honest. I'm not a huge fan. It's trying to get out of the developing value area high, but can't. It hasn't had much momentum recently, which is never a good sign when the whole market is launching and your coin isn't. It might be one to put on the back burner and wait for it to break out of pretty much $3. And then I'd be looking for $1.50. So 30 cents. So if you can get out of 30 cents, I'll be looking for $1.50. Jesus, thing got absolutely sold off. So basically listed on Binance and then just sold off nonstop. Pretty standard play, to be honest. Veracity, I think I already covered that. Was that Veracity? Yeah. Already covered that. Track. I mean, this thing is launching. Wow. I've never heard of this thing before. It's already up 500%. I mean, I don't know what you want me to tell you on that. The best you can do is when it finally does stop is put a Fibonacci on it and see where it pulls back to. But yeah, I am no help for something like that. I mean, it's had a crazy run. I mean, I'd definitely be looking to take some profits. I mean, I don't know what's going on. Oh, that's Finance US. Coinbase. Okay. I don't know what I was looking at before. Maybe it was a different part of its cycle. Let's see if we can go back. I don't know. There must be two different types of track codes. Anyway, this one on Gate.io is absolutely sending. Is it even live? Yeah, it is. I'm not sure which track you want. Original trail. The Coinbase. Yeah, I don't know why it is launching so hard on, or if it's different coin. It's got to be two different coins. No way. Uh, like these things, it's just like, why would you own this when you can own something that's like already has nice market structure? I just look at coins like this and wonder, like, do they still have a development team? Like, because they definitely don't have a freaking market maker on it. So, coins like this eventually get delisted if they don't start doing something soon. Um, what's like the liquidity in there? Is there volume? But yeah, basically the same. It can get out of the range high, which is 0.45, and then it can easily run all the way to 0.87 and then push even higher. Okay. Elrond. Interesting. It has reclaimed the buying climax and trying to hold. So sort of in a similar position right now to where sushi is, to be honest. So we will see if this can hold basically this level through here and do something like this, right? So that's basically what I'm looking for at the moment here on Elrond. If you can break out of this range high, then yeah, we're looking for it to come up probably to $125. And then if you can enter the next range, let's turn long-term VWAP on and see what levels it gives us. And then we can go from there. So basically what I'm looking for here is to hold this range low. If you can break this range high at $60, we look for a pump to 124. If we can get into the bottom of that, then up to $200, right? Eventually it'll have its pump. It looks like it's getting ready to go, to be honest. So, potential entry right now is definitely in this flag. So if this can continue to hold 37, then I'm looking to be in it. So the two best charts for an entry right now are definitely sushi and EGLD, Elrond. There's a lot of trash charts in there, guys. I think somebody asked for the Atlas somewhere as well, which is actually looking pretty nice. So yeah, but basically a lot of these coins are very, very similar, guys. Like, you want to see it come up. This might come up here and then come all the way back down to the buying climax level. I don't think it's going to go back to here. I mean, potentially could, depending how bad the market gets. But yeah, and then you could end up with something like this. And, if they continue with good releases for this game, can definitely push all the way up to 0.00952, right? Something like that. It's definitely on the cards. I can't get it to work on this coin. So yeah, Startless is definitely looking good. I managed to get a bag pretty low in through the reaccumulation, very, very bottom. So we will see how this ends up playing out, but a bit of a higher risk coin. It got absolutely destroyed when everybody thought they were going to go bankrupt after they lost a massive part of their banked, basically their treasure chest that they raised through their ICO and everything like that, because it all got stuck on FTX. I think they actually sold their claim, so I'm not sure if they're going to get anything back or what the deal is. But they do have runway for a little bit longer, I'm pretty sure. I'm not exactly sure how much runway they still have, but they seem to be getting a fair bit of traction. And with the coin pumping, and the game sort of being starting to get playable, they might get a little bit more interest. But basically, like, Illuvium and stuff like that, it's all about how many players they get. With DEXs, it's all about how many traders actually use the exchange, right? And if numbers start to go up, people are going to get excited and the coin's going to pump. They'll get a market maker on there and the thing will fly when, we're getting into that hype cycle of the market. So yeah, if we can break this range high level at 0.00438, then I'll be looking for it to come up to 0.095, basically. If we can get out of there, it'll come up to this point here, which is where Solana is stuck at the moment. Right? And then probably this range low from back here. And then see how it goes in this range, right? And it could end up being a great trade. Let's see how it ends up playing out. But obviously, a lot of it's going to come down to what happens with the game, right? And how they go with their releases. But it does look really cool at the moment. It can easily just end up chopping and going all the way back down here, just going into nothingness and continue this downtrend, right? Downtrend. Want to see it break that downtrend to give a little bit more confidence in it, right? Okay, and do something like that. So let's have a look at ADA. It's trash, but for some reason people love it. Not sure why. Actually, structure doesn't look too bad, to be honest. Pretty clear accumulation. It's the same as everything else. It's going to break out of 0.45, right? I think we can definitely push pretty quickly up to 0.6, right? And then if you can break out of that, eventually we're looking for $1.20, right? And to give you an example of how these accumulation ranges work, let's go and have a look at Cardano in the previous market cycle. So the halving was somewhere around here, I'm pretty sure. I can't remember when the halving was. Yeah, it was around here somewhere. I think it was in May or something, April of 2020. But yeah, see how we get out. This is a range, right? Sweep the range low on the COVID dump. We end up breaking out of the range high, come back and retest in the range high, and then it runs post-halving into the really big mega pump, right? So this is the mega pump that you want to try and catch back to the previous all-time highs, and then goes even higher than that, right? That is the charts that you want to be seeing. But, some of these altcoins, they could easily, be doing this right now, and they're about to roll over and chop sideways for a lot longer until post-halving run, and then they finally take off. So that's something to think about at the moment, guys. Don't get too excited by anything just yet. It's not until it's broken out of clear levels and is actually pushing strong. But yeah, some of these charts we're looking at right now, they can definitely end up doing what ADA did and be back up here at 140 or 200, right? I think the last thing I was going to show you guys I haven't looked at yet was Link. Right, which came all the way up and tagged the previous year value area high. This way's tool is so good, guys. Like, it just gives you the best levels on the chart that other people aren't looking at. Like, this level isn't really anything else, right? It's not a key swing high point or anything like the key swing high is $18 and $19, right? But, managed to take some profit off this Link trade back here because we're, pushing into the previous year value area high at 16 and starting to pull back, starting to put in a bit of a bearish doji potential setup, right? So that is something to think about, guys. But basically, this is a really good example. And, some coins are still going to do this. Some have already done it, so you've missed out. But the swing low through here after it sweeps the low, right? And you're going to have more opportunities next bear market for crypto stocks and stuff like that. Hollywood stocks just did this recently as well, right? Put a sweep of the range low in and they run back up to range high, come back down. So I did buy when we came back into the range here, and I know some through here. I had a couple of buys and bought one more last time in here. And then I'm pretty sure I added in this flag too, and just rode it up, right? Took some profit up here. We'll look to reallocate that depending on what this flag ends up doing, or it just breaks back out. I'll probably try to add it if it gets back up to 16. Looks like it's ready to run again. but I'm probably going to do something like this and then push out next, right? That's what we want to see. We want to see like things like Solana and Link and, you know, even BTC putting a nice bull flag here now. They've been the market leaders. Yes, they've pumped 100 something percent now. We want to see them sort of like, you know, go sideways, strong consolidation, create a new base, wash out some late longs for sure, and then reaccumulate and push again. Right. So usually the leaders continue to lead and continue to push hard. So keep our eyes on those for the next legs up. All right, guys, thanks a lot for tuning in. If you do want to learn how the way that I chart and everything like that, make sure you sign up to our course, Market Mastery 3. You can get that at marketmastery.io. There is a discount until the 16th of November, which is Student 200. We'll give you $200 off the course, and it does start on the 5th of December. I will post links about that in the comment section below. Join our Discord, which is discord.gg /Bitcoin is our URL. You jump in there, have a chat with everyone. Really cool crew. It's been absolutely pumping recently as well. Great vibes in there for sure. So yeah, make sure you jump in, have a chat with everybody in Discord. Trying to load that up, it doesn't want to get in the party. You can always get on and hang out with us in the Crypto Paradox Facebook community, which is over here right now. Right, jump in there. So just on Facebook, and then /Crypto Paradox, or search for us, Crypto Paradox, in the groups search bar, and you should be able to find our community. And yeah, just answer the questions properly so we don't think you're a bot, and you should get into the community. All right, guys, that's pretty much it from me today. Hopefully this analysis of the altcoin market has helped you, and we'll chat to you all in the next episode.